I know the problem here. It's old guy problems, Tom. Now you're coming through, but you're coming through on my hearing aids because I'm a deaf bastard. So
Okay,
let me turn those off.
that's what it is.
Me too.
Damn you and your hearing aids. No.
These cool Bluetooth hearing aids. Yeah, not always cool, folks. That's
No.
hilarious.
I got
James and I turned
too.
them off. I turned them off earlier.
Are they off?
Yeah, he's showing. Yeah.
Jesus
Thanks,
Christ.
Tom.
You two fucking
These are like the aftershock.
Okay,
ones.
so
These are
now I
really
think I hear you.
good.
We got to turn the volume up on this. Are you talking?
And this is fresh.
No, I don't hear him at all.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay,
Holy
I
shit
hear you
balls.
now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mute ourselves on this one. I don't know.
Is
We
that
gotta
better now?
we'll figure this shit out. Okay,
I know Kevin's laughing at us.
Kevin, yeah, my son-in-law is definitely laughing his ass off at
I
us.
like that view.
I like this view best as well, but we're not getting very good volume out of him.
I need a 5-year-old or something.
This, hey, do you hear us?
Uh,
Do you hear us now? Okay, now how about you talk?
okay, I'm talking right now.
Oh,
You hear me now?
awesome, awesome, awesome. We hear you now. We're going to still be looking this way.
Sweet.
We'll still be looking this way,
Perfect.
but we're going to be hearing you from our left. Very complicated. This is complicated
Gotcha.
business. How you doing, Tom?
Okay. I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Well, welcome to the Gen X Detention Club.
I think this is pretty cool, man. I like you
Yeah.
guys reaching out like this and talking about some stuff, and that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the concept is basically, you go to a reunion and then you run into people and you have these conversations with them, right? And we just kind of want to have those conversations, but captured in a larger area, and we all go through a lot of shit.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
Yeah. So where have you been? What's been going on since high school? I know it's a big territory, but
man.
It's only been a couple of years, right?
Yeah, I'm just two. Yeah, I'm in California still.
Okay.
Anaheim actually. Man, the journey's been incredible.
Yeah.
Currently retired. I got out of police work and executive protection and bodyguard stuff, and now I'm trying to live this life, but it's beating the shit out of me. So I'm regrouping in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting on how in the high school era, scared as shit about not knowing who you are, what you're doing. You're just trying to go along with the flow, and then life hits you, and you gotta pick up the pieces and try and figure it out. Because back then we had each other to figure it out. We didn't have all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Man, it's a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
I think we're better for it though, Tom. I think.
Oh my God, yes.
And I hope that was my number one thing about this is if somebody can pick anything up off of what these conversations we have and they can make their path a little easier or their current path a little easier, knowing that we've all gone through some shit. I've caused most of my situations. I take the blame for 99.9% of the stuff that I've done and happened to me. But it's tough not knowing that, the social media world is, oh, look how great my life is. Look how much money I have. I have no issues. I have no problems. I have perfect relationships. I have perfect situations. And life is not that way. And I appreciate you coming on. I was telling James that you and I have had a few back and forth conversations on the messenger, and it's I think this right here, us talking to people that we've known for years, even though we've lost contact like that, is going to help a lot more people, including ourselves, because social media is not going to help us other than spreading how we're doing this. Our conversation with you is going to help me way more than any head shrink's going to do, because I get to hear what you've gone through, knowing that you and I, we grew up right around the corner from each other, literally, but in the same era, going through the same shit, and our heads are probably a lot in the same space, even though there's been, it's 30 years since, I think 30 years, it's more than 30 years since I think, what are we? I don't even want to think about it. I can't do math.
Yeah. Math isn't mathing today.
So a long time. And I really hope that people get something out of it. I hope you get something out of this, Tom. If nothing else, it's a couple hours to laugh and talk to us, because I know you got a lot to share, and I'm looking forward to hearing you share. And
yeah, I think one of the biggest things I really liked about what you guys are doing is the open forum, and the fact that it's real talk. It's not fluff. It's not trying to influence people and buy this or get that. I mean, this is just, it's raw, and it's stuff that we grew up with, went through, and maybe it can reach some of the younger generations, and they can kind of learn through our mistakes, our challenges, our way of discoveries, and maybe we can help somebody.
A little bit of what we talked about was it being a little bit of therapy, and I think I've seen it in the past. I do remember Deshaun and a few others, and that we've gone and we've lost some people over the years, and we're struggling with a lot of the same stuff, but we're so used to not reaching out to each other with support. And the thing is that what I started noticing is that, when I did reach out, the immediate love, right? There's that connection. There's not a gap that's there. And I said, and we got to capture that, because I was going through it when I first got back together with Todd, and having his support and just being able to reconnect just reminded me of who I was and what I wanted to be. And it was just, it doesn't eliminate the hardships, but it does make the journey a little bit easier, right?
So true, man. I mean, just the fact that you have somebody hearing you, just being there to hear what you just said or go through, it's just, now you're not alone. Now you actually have a little support system, and maybe you get another one that will actually listen to you. And then, oh shit, now I'm starting to kind of regroup, pick some ideas from each other, and maybe we can get a very positive, better response, healthier response.
Yeah.
Because when you're in it alone, man, it is so dark, and it's not fun, and it's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
We got to do better.
Yeah, and it's hard to do it just by. I mean, most of my interactions have been through texting and connecting that way. But I think that what this affords us is a little bit of an opportunity to really just have these conversations. I think even Todd, I'm not speaking for him, but we actually envision people coming out, hanging out with us, and having a beer, having that support right there, go through it, and letting people feel heard a little bit. So, and I know that you were big on this area, because you've talked about it, and some of us are just not used to opening up in that way, especially the men and from Gen X. We just don't open up that way, because shit, I would have got a kick across the head, right?
Yeah.
Going to my dad and asking it, telling him, hey, I'm down or whatnot. It just doesn't equate. And I'm sure if I would have, my dad would have been there in the way that I needed, because I think he genuinely cared. I just don't think they were equipped for it.
Yeah. Well, they weren't.
No.
Tom, bring us up to speed from 1987 until now.
Well,
what have you?
Let's start with who you were, because I don't know if everybody in the audience is going to know who you were. So who were you in high school? Based on your opinion and your view of yourself, who were you in high school?
Man, that is a very loaded question. I was a scared little kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
This
crazy
is
to
true.
hear.
Because when I knew I was going to Rubidoux, I already had an older brother who was a senior,
Okay.
and I was not in Rubidoux yet. And then my
Yeah.
oldest brother, he was just graduating. So when I went in my freshman year, I already had two brothers that were in the system. So if I didn't have that, I would be like pretty petrified, because growing up hearing about Rubidoux and all the gang activity and all the stuff that was happening there, it was not a good thing. I mean, they had riots and shit, and I mean, so going into it, I was like, oh my god. But I at least had two brothers that kind of took me under their wing, and the reputation or whatever. It's funny back in high school, but I was very timid, very scared, very insecure. I
Yeah.
hated my smile, you know, and so I never really felt belonged to some people, kind of clicky.
Yeah.
And so I just did my thing. I just tried to find my way, and I met a couple people, and Paul and Gene, we kind of hung out all the time, and I began to discover that I was a pretty good athlete, and that I was, the harder I worked, the better I got, and the stronger I
Yeah.
got. And so it kind of helped me get more confidence. And then hanging out
Yeah.
with and Paul and Gene, for the most part, that was really helping the confidence level. But I was inside, man, I was so scared, so shy. If I didn't have the go being the athlete and working hard and all that stuff, I have no idea what would have happened. So
Yeah.
I held on to that.
Yeah.
Tom, what kind of gave you, was it coaches? Was it other people that gave you that, okay, I just need to pour myself into football and other sports, and this is going to be what helps me you know, get into this and get through this. Because what people
Yeah,
don't understand is when we came in to Rubidoux, like you said, it was really rough. I mean, it kind of flipped our freshman year to sophomore year. The whole school flipped. It became a
yeah,
lot nicer place. I think the police showed up a lot less. But our freshman year, it you kept your head on a swivel there.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Was there like a coaching or a single coach or coaching staff, or was it more people that were in our class or above you that kind of helped you with that?
Yeah, timing wise for me, when I got from eighth grade to ninth grade into Rubidoux, my parents had divorced, and so I didn't really. I mean, not to brush off on my father or anything, but I mean, he had his own thing dealing with his own situations, and my younger brother Rick and I just felt kind of deserted. And so we ended up living with our mom, and then so that's when we went to high school, and she was very strict. And
Yeah.
so the when I met Paul, um, and his dad, Coach Louis Rivera, man, that influenced me tremendously. And then on top of the coaches with football, and the other people that you kind of meet that are your adults, so it really kind of helped me get out of the darkness that I was, because that was tough for me when they left, when they divorced, and then going into this high school, and then having a new place to live, and then meeting all these new people, and then I mean, you go down the list of all these new discoveries at 13 and a half, 14 years old, and you're like, what the hell is going on, trying to juggle all that. So around those coaches, and coaches are such a beautiful breed of people, because if the true ones that really care about your life and your direction and your discipline and helping you get better, they're really hard to find.
Yeah.
And those ones that do come along, they shape you.
Yeah.
I literally just got goosebumps when you said Bear. And he was my coach in junior tackle. And I remember one of the things that he had told me, and then he also told the team, this is probably, I'm talking 12 years old, maybe, when he was our coach. And I think he was our offensive line coach. I don't remember. But one of the things that he told me, I still use to this day, is he said, Do you remember in a jungle, the king of that jungle is the lion? He's strong, he's muscular. What does that lion have to do to work out? He stretches, he flexes. That's how, and I use that to this day. And I've always remembered, you take, my memory sucks. I've had, God only knows how many concussions from multiple things. And who knows what's tied to what. That luckily pro football's gotten exposed, and there's people that are going after that, and hopefully the generations after us will be able to figure it out and fix it before we die. But one of the things that's always stuck is him and those words, and how much all those coaches, those guys were giving hours and hours of their time away. And I was lucky enough that I was in, I screwed up my knee in my freshman year, my last year to freshman year. I screwed up my knee real bad. So they put me in adaptive PE, which was Coach Brohard's class. And it was basically Coach Brohard meeting with every major college coach. And I know that guy is, to me, nobody can ever say anything about him and make me feel bad about the guy. I had a great relationship with him. I saw firsthand what a lot of people didn't see. I saw him turn into a used car salesman, basically, and sell the shit out of players. And guys like, they were coming in there to see Ryan Knight. We had John Robinson in there. What was it? Guy that was at UCLA for years. I saw all those guys, all the big name college coaches in the day were in there to see Ryan. And the first thing coach did is he'd show him a quick get through the Ryan stuff, because Ryan's tape already sold itself. He was getting a full ride at a top tier college. That wasn't a question. Coach would slip 4 or 5 other guys in there and talk them up. That, as I go through life, I realized that that's life changing. What he was doing behind closed doors, nobody there to see it, other than, I was there. I was lucky enough to be there to see what he was doing for people. That's life changing.
Yeah.
And you're dead on. Coaching is, those guys are, it's a different world.
It's interesting when you say that, is because he directly affected my oldest brother, Larry, to get him an Air Force scholarship, because he brought in all these coaches, and these coaches were like, oh my God. And he did this package deal. Well, I got this. Now I also got these 15 other, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, he might have gotten 13 or 15 athletes scholarships. My brother's in the, what was it, 83, I believe. That's incredible for them to come to that school and then get that many athletes. But I tell you, Brohard was one of them. But there's, like you were mentioning, Deshaun Burns' dad. Oh my God, Pison's dad. Holy crap, Warta's dad. These guys, like even Harrison Cole. And I don't mean to say even. I'm talking all these coaches that had some type of touch on my life, that it just shakes you. And like you said, that quote that Bear was talking to you about, there's thousands he's done to not only me, but other kids that just, if you held on to some of those gems, they really do make sense. And they really do work for you in your life, because they really cared. You could feel it, man. It was deep. And with Bear, I basically lived over there with he and Paul and his family, because they lived really close to me, and I got to go fishing and all this kind of stuff. So I got a lot more access to this man than most people ever did. And
yeah,
he had a big heart.